I'd like to show you the world's first 4-yard skein winder. This one happens to be motorized, which enables me to run the film as well as operate the unit. As you can see, we're feeding directly from a cone on the floor. That measures, those arms measure 54 inches across, and that gives you a 4-yard skein. There really is no other 4-yard skein winder on the market that we're aware of. And as you can see, we're pulling yarn right from the cone through the yarn guide tensioner post that's mounted on the lower section of the center column. We'll also have a triple yarn guide at that location as well, and we'll probably increase the height of this a couple of inches to give it a little bit more clearance. But as you can see, that works pretty well at this point. You know, at 4 yards per rotation, it doesn't really take very long to make a extremely large skein. I think earlier today I ran a 540 yard skein in approximately 1 minute, to give you an idea of the rate of winding. And you can see this skein is very nicely wrapped. It's all on the center portion of the yarn guide, and that's a function of, you know, the way it's fed from the cone through the yarn guide, which by the way has a tensioning mechanism on it as well. This unit has the control panel, which is connected by an Ethernet cable. You can make that cable as long as you want, but we also have a a radio frequency remote control here, which I'll show you in a second. Basically, the radio frequency controller will turn the unit on and off. It'll increase the speed, go into jog mode. It'll do a number of things. Now we're trying to work out some minor issues with this technology, but basically our plan would be to have this used whenever you're using the floor stand, which you have to use with the 4-yard skein winder. Placed a red yardstick behind the unit, as you can see, and that shows you how wide this unit is. Each arm is 54 inches wide, and that's 36. I think that's maybe 37 inches, that yardstick. But essentially, it gives you a good idea how big the span of the unit really is. That's running at nearly high speed. And as you can see, it's really reduced the size of that cone that we've been working from. And you can see how nicely it stops when I hit the stop button. Here's the handle if you wanted to rotate the skein winder by hand. You know, it turns in your hand, so it's very comfortable to use. We space the handle out on the 4-yard unit 1 additional inch to give you a little bit more leverage. But quite frankly, it's you don't really need it, but we did that nonetheless, just to handle the additional load that is placed on the unit. You know, this is probably the only unit you're ever going to see to make 4-yard skeins. We're using aluminum extrusions, which are extremely strong, yet they're lightweight. Be very difficult to do the same thing with wood. The wood would end up being too heavy to be strong enough, and whereas the aluminum is the perfect solution for this application. So not only will this be the first, it may be the last 4-yard skein winder that the market sees. So we'll have to see what happens over time.